Hello, everybody, and welcome to Unprepared. I am Megan, and this is my show, and I am unprepared, thus the name. So, welcome, everybody. With me tonight is my wonderful friend Jason, and we are
Hello.
going to be playing Alex Roberts' amazing game StarCrossed. So, before we just go ahead and jump right in. We'll do some intros and then tell you a bit about the game, and then we'll get started. So, like I said, I'm Megan. Hi. This is my show, and I love GMless games. I'm going to ask Jason what his GMless game is, and I will tell you that mine bounces back and forth, but I think this might be my favorite GMless game, and I am so excited to finally be getting to share it with everybody. So I'm very excited. It's probably the GMless game that I've played the most. And it's just so very good. So I'm very excited about tonight's episode. So Jason, if you want to just introduce yourself and tell me what your favorite GMless game is.
All right. Hi, I'm Jason. And I I have played this game with Megan double-digit times, I believe now. Many times.
Yeah, oh, at
Uh,
least over a dozen.
yep.
It's been a decent amount of times.
So when you ask me what my favorite GMS game is, I almost have to say this one because this is definitely the one I've played the most.
Mm,
So I think that probably makes it my favorite.
yeah, it's a good game.
It
It's a,
is.
it's a very good game. So StarCrossed, we'll do a little bit of info about the game because we're kind of playing it not as intended. So StarCrossed is a game by Alex Roberts, Muscular Pikachu on Twitter. They are an amazing game designer. They designed For the Queen, which we played on our very first episode. And StarCrossed is played, the elevator pitch I give to people is it's like Dread if it was about romance. Because the main mechanic of StarCrossed is being played with a Jenga tower. Um, but obviously, since we are in two different states right now, and also social distancing, even if we weren't in two separate states, we are playing with an Excel spreadsheet that kind of mimics the tower mechanic um, of it. So we will be rolling dice anytime we would otherwise pull a block from the tower, which is really cool and a great way to play this game that is meant to be a played in person physical space game to a nice way to play it with internet friends. Um, so basic the basic gameplay, it's very simple. It is played in a series of, I want to say, seven, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8. So there's a total of 8 scenes in the game. You play the scenes in order. You may get through all 8 scenes. You may not get through all 8 scenes. It entirely depends on how the game goes. And we will create characters. We will role play through these scenes. One of us will be playing the lead, and one of us will be playing the follow, which we will determine in a lively debate shortly after I finish talking about game mechanics, as is customary. And generally, if you're playing in person with a Jenga tower, you will pull a brick. For the lead, we'll pull a brick anytime they intentionally touch the follow or intentionally reveal something personal. Whereas the follow would pull a brick when they unintentionally touch the lead or unintentionally reveal something personal. So you'd be pulling a brick at those times. So instead, what we do to mimic that is we will roll a d20. and keep track of it on our spreadsheet. And if the same number is rolled 4 times, that is the tower falling. The other
It's five
mechanic of
times
the
for falling, right?
five, oh, it's five
Yep.
times? 5 times for fall. Just goes to show that the tower has always been pushed over before it's reached that state. The other mechanic of the game when you're playing in person is you have to be physically touching the tower anytime you're speaking. So there is another mechanic in the online version of it where what you have what's called an attraction score, and that's based on how many times you've pulled from the tower. And when the attraction score gets to a certain point, you start rolling percentile dice. And if you roll under your attraction score, then that is the tower falling. Notoriously, Jason and I are both very, very bad at remembering that particular mechanic. So we probably are going to continue to forget that that mechanic is there, but it is there, and it does add like another level of tension and not wanting it. It mimics the tension of like an actual Jenga tower. And I kind of prefer it because I am notoriously bad at Jenga. So I know any in person StarCrossed games would last 1 to 2 pulls for me, and then it would be done. Um, so the tower falling. So when the tower falls, that is symbolic of these characters acting on their feelings for one another in whatever form that takes. Um, so during the course of the game, so if the tower falls because of the result of a roll, then the characters will act on their feelings that way. Or at any point during the game, a character can choose to knock the tower over and act on their feelings at any time, which is the most fun you can have in this game. I'm not going to say that it's a race to see who can knock the tower over first, but it sometimes is like that. So I think, yeah, I think that's the basic mechanics. It's super easy to play. We're just going to roll right into it. We did do a little bit of preliminary character creation before the stream because we didn't think anybody would want to watch us scroll through fantasynamegenerator.com for a half hour trying to find the perfect name. So we're sparing you all that and coming into it with a little bit of pre-gen for our characters. But when you are playing this game, you need absolutely no preparation whatsoever. You can either come into the game and decide everything about the couple that you're going to be playing right from the get-go, or you can come in with a basic idea like, oh, I want to play this kind of game. Um, Jason
Yeah.
and I alone have spanned a very, very large gamut of couples for this game. We've done fantasy and sci-fi and like like IRL adjacent um, stuff. It can stand on its own as a game. We've also played it as a way to build backstories for PCs that we've played in like one shots or campaigns that have a joint backstory, and it's a really fun way to flesh out pre-existing characters instead of just sitting around talking about what their relationship was like. It's a nice fun way to kind of just get into their shoes before you're playing them. So yeah, we've been all over the place, but for this particular game, we decided to go just the most on brand. This might be the most on brand.
I don't know. Can you say
Um,
that? Because we've had a lot
we've had a
of.
lot of very on brand games. But so we will be playing a noble and their knight protector. Um, and as Jason is very apt to play the knight type characters, and I always want to be a princess, we have decided that I will be playing the knight and Jason will be playing the noble, just to give it a little switch up. But we are both very excited, and this is both very much our shit. So let me pull up my at least my name so I can remember what my name was. So Jason, who is going to be the lead and who is going to be the follow?
I was thinking about this, and
Okay.
at first, I thought it made sense for you to be the lead,
Okay.
but then I wasn't sure because I am the noble,
Mm-hmm. That's
and
we keep
therefore I could see the knight kind of deferring to the noble a lot.
see we so often we end up with these couples that it's like, "Oh, well, it could go either way." Like, there's so rarely, like, a very distinct, like, "This is clearly the lead, this is clearly the follow." Because that was where I was too, where it's like, yeah, like, I could be the lead because 'cause I'm the knight, like, I'm the strong one, but at the same time, like, you're my liege, like, I follow your like, I'm here
Hmm.
to do what it is you are doing.
And I guess one thing we didn't mention about the rules is, and the lead and the follow is the lead starts off each scene, kind
Oh,
of
mhm.
sets the stage of each scene, and the follow determines when a scene ends.
Yes. And I'm trying to think. Hmm. See, I like playing both, so, like, at this point, I'm like, I don't know what I like better. So
Be
I will
suggested that
defer
we
to
roll for it.
Oh, alright. Um,
Want to each roll a d20, and whoever's higher is the lead.
okay. Alright, sounds good.
Oh, I got a 3.
Oh, well, I got a 12, so
All right, you are the lead.
alright, so I am the lead, so let us do our character. Um, so character creation for StarCrossed is very easy. You have 5 questions. I cannot count today. You have 6 questions, um, in character creation, which is who are they? What is their most attractive feature? That is what we answer about our characters is what their name is, who they are, what their most attractive feature is, and then you trade um, with the person you're playing with and answer the question, what about them do they not realize is attractive? So there are two things about them that they don't realize is attractive, and you trade and answer that about the person you are playing opposite, which is simultaneously the most fun and most stressful part about this entire game is trying to figure that out. Because in essence, you are helping create this your game partner's character, which is really cool. So then after you do that, you take it back and answer about your own character. Why can't they act on their feelings, and why is that reason important to them? Because the premise of StarCrossed, even though it is a game about romance, the premise is that these are two people that cannot and will not act on their feelings for one another, because it is just for any myriad of reasons, it is not possible for them to act on their feelings for one another.
They are
So
star-crossed lovers.
they are star-crossed. Yes. Just like Romeo and Juliet, except nobody's going to die.
Well, as far as we know.
Here's hoping.
Yeah.
So we are so let me get these in. So I will be playing Adeline Alaria. She is a not a full-fledged knight yet. She is the daughter of the captain of the royal guard for the kingdom in which this game takes place. Her mother died when she was very young, and because her father's the captain of the guard, she grew up in the castle, best friends with the prince. And they grew up together just as kids, and then she came of age and wanted to become a knight and went off and has been training as a knight and has been brought back for her like night test, um and is pledged to the second prince of the kingdom to protect him at all costs, as he moves from the castle, to a secondary safe location because the kingdom potentially may be going to war, so we got to keep him safe. So I'm going to mute myself while I type on my very loud keyboard. Jason will tell you about his character while I do that.
Okay, I am going to be playing Prince Vestrin of Griffin Point. Griffin Point is this kingdom in which he is the um, second child, so he's not the heir. Um, and he's been fine living his life without being in the spotlight and without the pressure of eventually being the ruler of the kingdom. Um, Prince Vestrin is a quiet, um, caring prince, often overlooked, often ignored, but very content to do his own thing. However, recently the kingdom of Griffin Point has come under threat by the king's half brother, and for that reason, they are sending Prince Vestrin away to keep the bloodline safe. And to protect him while he's being sent away, they are assigning this young knight who grew up alongside him.
It's gonna be great. Um, all right. So those are our characters. Like I said, you don't need to do any prep before you play this game. This is a very fun facet of the game, but since it's also a lot of thinking and throwing out ideas until something sticks and scrolling on fantasynamegenerators.com, we decided to do it ahead of time, just to save y'all a little bit of. I mean, I'm sure we would make it very interesting, but just going to save a little bit of time for the sake of brevity. So, next question is, what are their most attractive features? Which is, these questions are always like, they're so simple.
Yep, and this is the one where we're answering about our own
Yes,
character.
we are answering about our own characters. Like, what do our characters think their most attractive features are?
So I think Prince Vestrin, um, he has he wears his hair sort of long, but it's tied back, and it's held back by um, a ribbon that was given to him by his mother, the queen. Um, but Prince Vestrin also spends a lot of time reading and writing, which are two of his, favorite hobbies and pastimes. Um, and he just has a thing where his hair will fall out of the ribbon and fall in front of his face while he's reading or writing, and it's adorable.
This boy is going to kill me. I wore this, nope, this side, this shirt as like a plea to be nice to me. Please be nice to me. So, Edeline, as a knight, or a very hopeful, soon to be knight, daughter of knight, the knight captain, her most attractive feature, that she thinks is her strength and her prowess in battle
She
as a
buff.
potential knight. Yes, she is cut. I may or may not have completely styled her how she looks after um this wonderful night at the Ren Fair that I went to last year because she was just so beautiful. Um I didn't do that. Definitely not something I would do, but I
Definitely
totally
not.
did. Yeah, but she buff. She's a strong girl. Um and I love her very much, just like I loved my wife that I met at the Ren Fair. Um so so now we do a trade Z and we'll answer the same question twice. What about them do they not realize is attractive? So, two things that they don't realize is attractive about themselves that the other character sees. And I gave myself hiccups. Sees that is attractive.
I have one
Oh God.
for her.
Okay. All right. I don't like it when
Uh,
you have ideas so quickly.
she has a obsession's too strong a word, but she really loves horses,
Mm,
and she has a
horse girl.
bond to her horse. Yeah, she's a horse girl.
This is some just beautiful Ferdinand von Ayer shit, and I am here for it. In this house, we love Ferdinand von Ayer. Um, that's very good. I'm now. See, I did this ahead of time so I wouldn't have to think of names on the spot. You know, I'm gonna have to think of a name for this horse.
Yeah, true. I didn't warn you
um,
on that one.
no, you weren't like, oh, BT Dubs. No, I'll think of something. It'll be great. Just wait. I'm just gonna vamp while I think of one. Let me see. What about? hmm. Um, So I think, all right, so I have one. So Vestrin, because he's the second son, he like thinks that he's very overlooked. I think that um he he's very caring and like he's soft spoken, but what he says like speaks volumes. Like he doesn't say a lot, but what he says is very poignant and well thought out. So I think that the way that he like speaks is very attractive because he's just like a very thoughtful, caring person.
All right, I like that. And I'm gonna say 'cause usually I do when I'm because we have to answer this question twice. Um, usually I do one answer that is like a mannerism or personality trait, one of them that is a physical trait. Um, so I'm gonna say the other thing that they don't realize is attractive. I mean, she has bright red hair,
Mhm.
and she knows she has bright red hair, but
Yeah.
it is particularly
Oh God,
attractive
she
to
is
Prince
Ferdinand
Vestrin.
von Ayer. I didn't even. She is Ferdinand von Ayer. That's really good. I also have a proclivity towards redheads. Surprise.
I'm shocked.
In my defense, my wife from the Ren Fair was also a redhead. um. All right. Yeah, I usually like to do that too. It's something a physical attractiveness and then a something that's more internal. So, boom. So Prince Vestrin, you had said so his eyes are like a hazily color and they change a
Mhm.
lot, like depending on like how bright it is or like what colors he's wearing and stuff. So I think that um she finds that really cool and really his eyes are just like really pretty because they're never the same color.
Perfect. So now we have to answer why can't they act on their feelings?
This is the easy one.
Yep.
Yeah, why can't they act on her feelings? Adeline wants to be a knight. This is her prince. Like she's going to be like his liege knight when she becomes a knight. So like she can't act on her feelings because like this is her job. This is her boss.
Yep. And similarly, Prince Vestrin can't act on his feelings because he's expected to eventually marry someone for like strategic reasons or, some sort of diplomatic alliance. Um, so it would be against the wishes of his family for him to just fall for the knight who protects him.
Yep. Oh, it's so good. And the last question is why is that reason so important to them? And Adeline being a knight is everything to her. Her father is the head of all of the knights in the kingdom. That's been her dream since she was a child was to grow up to be a knight just like he is. So
And it's
she's not willing to risk it.
and it's important to Prince Vestrin because his kingdom is important to him, his family and his bloodline, um, and he is convinced since birth that he has a certain duty to uphold as a royal.
Ah, so good. Tropes on tropes on tropes. I also had to hold back a giggle when you said duty.
Oh, geez.
I'm an adult. um, all right. So that's character creation. So these these good kids are made and now we're just actually we have to start with some roles. the game itself starts this way. If you're playing it in Meat Space with a Jenga tower, it starts this way. Playing with dice on a spreadsheet, each person pulls 3 bricks to start the game. If you're playing with your Jenga tower, or we will roll 3d20 and check them off of our list to begin, just to like add that little bit of drama. Because it's always really fun when you end up with multiples of the same number right from the get go. So, oh, look at me. 12, 13, 14. I am consistent.
We did not get any matches on this first one.
Awesome.
But we did get a
Cool.
nice streak of 12 through
Yeah.
15.
12 through 15. Nice. Wait, you got 3 and 5. You couldn't have gotten 4. And then we could have
Nope.
had like 3 streak. It's okay. Um, so one of the really cool things, there's a lot of really cool things about this game. But one of the cool things I like about StarCrossed is how easy it is to just jump above the table to discuss things and figure things out as you go. And before each scene, there's like a little just bit of planning to be like, all right, like setting it up for ourselves and then establishing things. And then like even within the scene itself, being able to be like, hey, like jump above table, what do you think about this type of thing? That comes with having really good people to play it with that are willing to kind of just like flow with it, which I have always played this game with really cool people. Um, so our first scene is an introduction. So we've got to figure out what that what that is. Is this like, so Vestrin is being sent away. Where is he being sent to? And
Do we want to?
is this scene like them coming together the day that he is leaving?
So I think he's being sent to the Queen's, say the Queen's sister
Okay.
has a like country estate on the edge of the kingdom.
Oh, it's just a quaint little cottage and it's just this giant mansion.
Yeah, it's not a quaint cottage. But he's being sent there to sort of be away from
Mhm.
the main happenings in the
Yeah.
capital and in the castle.
Your contingency plan. We're sending the spare somewhere safe
Yes,
just in case.
I am the younger son. They have to be sent away just in case. So we could do the introduction that way, or we could get something I don't think we've ever done. We could do a flashback because they've known each other since they were children.
Yeah.
So the introduction could be when they were younger.
Yeah. We could See, I like the idea of doing a flashback, but I also like the idea that like they haven't seen each other in a while, like since they were kids. This is the first time that they've they've seen each other. I'd say probably I'm trying to think because they probably were together until like she was old enough to like go off to school type of deal. Because like they were just raised together because she didn't have a mom and needed somebody to raise her, and you probably had a gaggle of nannies and they're like, yeah, what's one more kid? Just toss her in there, it'll be fine. She's noble adjacent.
Yeah, I do like the idea that since she was sent off and has been training, they haven't seen each other.
Yeah, it's probably just like, all right, well, we're probably not gonna see each other again, I guess. like I'd say they were probably together until like very early teens, like around there, like around like 12, 13, when like you have to like really start being a prince and I have to really stop hanging out with the prince because I'm not important enough. So maybe it's been like 10 years or something like that.
Okay, I like that. So are we meeting back up at the castle for the first time in like 10
Yeah.
years?
Do you know that it's me? Because obviously
I
I
don't
know, like, because obviously I know that it's
yeah,
you. Like, that's
I
not
don't
a
think I do.
surprise.
I don't think I do yet.
That's so much cooler.
I don't think I had any part in setting this up, so I haven't really
Yeah,
even
it
considered that this would be who was assigned to protect me.
right,
Okay, so if you're the lead, you would start the
right.
scene.
Yeah, so I think that yeah, because it's like a pack your bags, son. Like, we're sending you away. Um, so I think that this is at the castle the day that you are going to be leaving to travel covertly to your aunt's country manor to be kept there in relative secrecy, just in case things break bad with dad's half brother. So I'm trying to think of hmm. I have two ideas in my head. So I'm thinking either this is like steps of the castle, knights ride up, or this is a somebody needs like you go get the prince, it's time to leave. Like go tell him it's time to leave type of thing. So that determines whether or not this is like a one-on-one type of thing or if this is like an in front of other people type of thing.
Hmm.
Yeah. Mm.
I think let's have that the riding up to the
Mm.
gates or something.
Okay. Yeah, so think that the scene begins with I think it's later in the day because we're doing like the dramatic cover of night type of stuff because everything is dramatic. So I think it's like the sun is about to start setting and there's like a carriage in front of the castle and Adeline rides up with like a couple other lesser knights or you know what I think they're just like knights and she's like she is in charge because this is like her proving herself but there are still other knights like just in case.
Hmm.
um so I think she rides up with like a small contingent of knights, probably like maybe four or five others. um and she rides up and like hops off of her horse um and like walks up the steps and you're there, probably your parents are there. Like yeah, who's there,
Yeah.
who
So I
else
think
is seeing you off?
I think Prince Vestrin is there, and his brother Prince Reese is there, um, and also both of his parents, the king and the queen, because they don't know exactly how long he'll be away. So they're saying goodbye as if it, you know,
Mhm.
could be the last time or at least a long time. Um, I think there are also a number of like porters and aides who are loading things on top of the carriage, all of his luggage that he'll need. But he is currently looking very distracted and absent-minded. Um,
Mhm.
he is holding a book under one arm, a rather large book, which has a number of, I would say, maybe half dozen silk bookmarks in it that are hanging out of the book.
What a
Um,
nerd.
and he like his parents are sort of doting on him at the moment. They're saying like an extended goodbye to
Mm.
him. They're explaining where he's going to be because he hasn't been to this estate since he was a small child. Um, he doesn't even know his aunt very well, um, and they're just. I think he's a little bit hesitant to even make the trip. Um, but they are telling him it's necessary to keep him safe. And he's not currently looking at you. He's looking back at his parents, and he's saying, "I don't understand, though. How could the castle possibly be under such danger that I need to be sent to some backwater cottage somewhere on the fringes of the yes,
It's a
somewhere
castle, you snob.
somewhere on the fringes of the kingdom. I don't understand. We have all this military might. How could we possibly be in danger?" And
Oh, yeah, sorry, I got caught up trying to find a name for my horse that I forgot to do earlier. So I'm currently on a website called 124 Best Horse Names. None of them are
jeez.
that good, spoiler alert, so I'm gonna keep that spinning in the back of my mind. But yeah, Edeline walks up, um, walks up the stairs and, like, kneels down in front of the king and queen and addresses them first, um, and um, like, once then turns to Prince Vestrin, like, still kneeling, he's like, um, "Your Majesty, we are ready to go at your command."
And Prince Vestrin does not realize you're talking to him at first, um, because his father is here and his older
Mhm.
brothers are here, and like, he does not defer to instantly thinking that he's the one being addressed at all. Um, so I don't think he even notices at first, and certainly doesn't make the connection of who you are right away, um, until everybody else is silent for a moment, and then he looks up and his eyes meet yours. Adeline?
"Yes, your Majesty. I'm here to accompany you on your trip."
I don't believe it. It's been it's been years.
"Yeah. Yes, 10 years, your Majesty."
And he looks back towards his parents, clearly a little bit surprised and confused. And his father says, "Well, we thought it best to send someone who knows you very well. And Adeline has been training all of these years, and we feel that she's ready."
And I just, like, nods her head and be like, "I am very thankful for the opportunity and will not let you down, your Majesty." Um, and then she will look back to Vashti and be like, um, "The carriage obviously is here for your comfort, but we have brought your horse as well if you wanted to ride. Um, we weren't sure what you would want to do."
He smiles a little bit, says, "I think that I'll start the trip riding. I always did love riding with you."
Already? And she, like, just, like, lowers her head, like, a little bit as she, like, blushes a bit, and she's like, um, "Very well, we will pull your horse around if you want to say your last goodbyes, and we will ride out right away." And she'll stand and just, like, back a couple steps away and, like, motion for them to bring your horse around, who has a really cool name, I'm sure.
Yeah, this was all a plot to make me have to name a horse too, huh? Well, I
My
had to
horse's
think
name
about
is
that.
Juliet
Oh, um,
because this is a StarCrossed game, baby.
well, I can't do the obvious answer for my horse. Hmm.
When
I
in
don't,
doubt, just name it a Shakespeare name. That's my naming convention for literally anything. It's like when in doubt, Shakespeare's art. He's been doing it for so long. He's all got all the good names cornered.
but if you pick Juliet for your horse and I pick a different Shakespeare name, I don't know.
There's so many. There's so many.
That's true. But anyway, while I figure out what my horse is named,
Just
um, yeah, they bring around his horse. Um, Vestrin, he just hugs each of his parents for a long time, um, completely unconcerned with whatever protocol there is about,
Mhm.
you know, displays of affection. Um, he's
Gasp.
just he just takes each one of them and hugs them, um, and even gives a hug to his older brother. He lowers his
Mm.
head, says, "Well, I don't know when I'll be able to come back, but I will be back, and Adeline will keep me safe.
Yes, I will.
Goodbye."
Mm.
And he turns and walks down to where the horses are, and I'm gonna have to come up with a name soon, but
Um, um, yeah, I think Adeline kind of like meets you halfway um, on your way to the horse, and it like took the reins from whoever had been like pulling them around, um, and will like kind of hold them steady so you can get on. I'm like, do you need me to hold your book for you? Do you want me to put it in the carriage?
yes, if you could put it in the carriage, that'd be good.
All right. She'll take it, go tuck it very safely into the carriage. Still an avid reader, I see.
Oh, yes, writer as well.
Oh, well, you'll have to tell me about some of the things you've written as we travel. It'll take us a few days to get there.
I'll also be chronicling our trip.
Oh, well, um, for both of our sakes, I hope that it's incredibly uneventful and you don't have much to chronicle.
Oh, we'll see about that. But either way, I figured I don't have terribly many opportunities to leave the castle, so it would be a shame not to record what happens. Is this an adventure of sorts?
I suppose so. Um, I hope it's not too much of an adventure. But everything, if goes according to plan, we should be there in about 4 to 5 days. Um, so so things will be good. We'll ride mostly throughout the night. We'll rest during the day. Um, just for safety's sake, we will likely send the carriage ahead and do most of our riding separate, just to not draw too much attention to ourselves.
And I think while you were saying all this, uh, he's been looking at you, and his eyes are like kind of distant, and he's clearly not really taking in what you've been saying.
And and I think like throughout that, like once you get on your horse, she's been like trying to hand the reins to you, and she and I'll eventually just kind of like shake your wrist a bit and be like, Your Majesty. And I will roll for intentionally
Yep.
touching. So yeah, like just kind of like gently, she'd be like, Your Majesty.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's all right. I'm sure you have a lot on your mind right now. I mean, I have a lot on my mind right now, and that's not nearly what you're going through.
Well,
I'm going to
really,
roll.
to be honest, I was just, well, it's been years since I've seen you, and you've grown up so much.
I'm well, yes, but so have you.
I I suppose that is true.
Well, that's time does a lot. It's been quite some time.
And you've been, I mean, I knew you were, but you've been training in the knighthood all this time.
Yes, hopefully if all goes well with this journey, I will return a full-fledged knight.
I'm sure you will.
I certainly hope so. But more importantly, keeping you safe and getting you delivered safe and sound to the country estate is our number one priority, much more so than my knighthood.
And before I knew it was going to be you here, I was actually quite worried about this trip.
There are there are far more capable knights than I. If anything, you should be a little more nervous.
Exactly the opposite. I I'm not my brother, and I haven't spent a lot of time with the guard, and I haven't been out drilling in warfare training like he has. I was honestly quite concerned about this trip and who would be in charge of protecting me, but I had no reason to believe that you would return to do it, and that makes me feel a whole lot better.
Well, I'm certainly happy to hear that, Your Majesty, and you can count on me. Um, I will protect you with my life.
Thank you. And I made a roll because he was
Yes.
unintentionally revealing.
Revealing something personal.
Yep.
Um, yeah, I think she motions for her horse and just like really effortlessly in a way I wish I could do IRL, just kind of just like hops right up there onto her horse like it's no big deal. Like she's done it, I don't know, 1,000 times. Um, and just kind of like pulls her horse around. It's like, ready to head out on your command, Your Majesty.
I'm also not going to get used to you calling me Your Majesty.
Well, that
It was always just Vestrin or maybe Prince Vestrin growing up.
well, we were children then. I mean, you were always the prince, but I didn't know any better.
Well, you can still just call me Vestrin.
If that's what you want, Your Majesty.
And he makes a face when you say it that time. But then he says, "All right, let's set out."
Right away, Prince Vestrin.
He nods a little bit, smiles.
Is
And I think that is the end of the introduction
yes,
scene.
that seems like a good place. Scene one done. Oh, these kids. I mean, they're not kids, but they're all PCs are kids to me. My children. All right. Oh. So here's another question. Is this game going to take place just throughout the journey, or is this going to be they get to this country estate and we're in like I'm still in charge of like keeping you safe throughout like this time?
I'm all right with either way. I mean, I guess wherever feels best for the scenes to fall, I suppose.
Yeah. Cuz like I kind of don't want it to all be journey stuff cuz then like that gets into further queen territory and then also just like gets a little stale. You can get into a lot of antics around a castle.
And then we'll have to probably introduce the queen's sister.
Oh, that's always fun. No, you just sneak around her. Um, so the next scene is A Little Embarrassment, which is always a very good one. Something I will. This game, just as a lover of scene-based narrative games, the scenes in this game are just so perfect to just wonderfully encapsulate a full relationship. And they're in such a good order, and everything about this game just works so well. So, scene two, A Little Embarrassment, always very fun. So, what? First question: who is embarrassed?
I mean, it could be either or
It could
both.
be either. What has happened that is embarrassing?
I mean, I think in this kind of dynamic where it's a noble and a knight, anything that breaks the protocol
Mm-hmm.
around like nobility and a knight is something that would embarrass both of them.
That's very true. Just, yeah, anything that's not how it's supposed to be. So, do you think that this is during the trip
I think so. I
still?
think
Because
it's
I
on
feel,
the journey
yeah,
because it's easier for those protocols to break down when you're
right,
traveling.
exactly. Because like everything is thrown off. Like there is no normal when you're just like living on the road for a week. Hmm. Trying to like think back to like other different embarrassments. I'm like, what could happen? Because my goblin mind just keeps always going to like some form of seeing each other naked. That's always where my
I
mind
knew you were going to
goes.
go there. I knew you
That
were going
is
to say like a
always where
bath
my
scene
mind
or something.
goes, is something in that realm, and I'm trying to like rein my trash mind in. Um
Do you have to?
no, I don't. I'm an adult. um I know we've done some form of that before.
Yeah, I'm certain
But
we have
like,
to. But
yeah, I'm trying. Yeah, because I'm thinking like that would work for like this setup where it's like on the road type
mhm,
of thing. Because then it's not just like, oh, I stumbled into the bathroom. It's like, oh, somebody's bathing down in the river
yep. And the
type
prince
of
won't have
thing.
all his attendants and everything that
Right.
he might usually have.
Is this is this where we're going?
This is where we're going.
All right. Well, yep. It's too late to stop now. There's no turning back. All right. So now that's established. Who is seeing who naked is the second question. It's equally embarrassing regardless, I think, in this situation. There isn't like somebody's so self-assured that it's only embarrassing for one of them. Like, I think no matter what, it's going to be very embarrassing.
I
Um,
think I think that the prince is the one taking a bath in like a river or a nearby like lake or pond or something.
yeah, you know what? I think the prince went off to like bathe because we're on the road and it's dirty, and I think we're maybe like a day or so out from like our destination. So it's like, all right, got to try to be somewhat presentable because I'm going to like be here soon. But things went long and Adeline got nervous and was like, "Oh my god, what happened to him? Where is he?"
Yeah,
The
because he
prince
didn't
has
tell
been
you he was
kidnapped. Yeah,
going to take a bath
like all of a sudden it's like, where is he? Like,
because he didn't even think anything of telling you that.
you were supposed to be watching him. Like, I'm gonna get fired from a cannon because this is a high fantasy situation. Um, so I think it's been like 10, 15 minutes, and Adeline's like good and proper freaking out and like asking everybody, like, where's the prince? Where is he? Did anybody see where he went? Did he go off with someone? Did he tell anybody he was going somewhere? Um, and somebody was like, oh, like I saw him like heading down to the river. And she's like, perfect. And I So I think she comes like storming down, like hand on sword, like storming down to the river, like be like Prince Vestrin, and then sees like, oh my god.
And I think he was just getting out of the river when you come storming like out of the forest or the brush or whatever with your sword drawn. Um, and he just like stops, deer in
What a
headlights.
fucking image. Oh, and then just like immediately turns out like,
and you turn around and he sort of backs back into the river. But his clothes are up on the bank on a rock
yeah,
or hanging on a tree.
like, yeah. I'm so sorry. Nobody had known where you went, and we are getting very
Are we in
worried. We thought
danger?
no,
Oh, I
you
mean,
just didn't know where you were, and you had been gone for quite some time. And well, it's my duty to know where you are and know that you are safe. And I didn't know either of those things. So I got worried, and somebody said they had seen you come down this way. So I was coming down this way thinking that something had happened to you, but it appears you are fine.
yeah, I'm fine. Um, I didn't realize that I had to check in that I was going to take a bath.
Um, no, no, you don't. Um, I mean, it just like a little heads up would have been nice to someone. But no, no, you are free to do as you wish. Um, yes, I'm very sorry, Your Majesty.
No, I'm quite sorry. I I didn't realize I guess I'm not yet taking this as seriously as I should.
um, um, so I wanted so now that I know that you are all right, we are hoping to set out very shortly. We should be to your aunt's estate tomorrow mid afternoon. So like back, like just back to you,
Well,
like
um,
sheathes her sword.
I do believe that we set out when I say we set out. Is that right?
um, yes, Your Majesty, I apologize. You take as much time as you need.
Uh, it's nice out. Come sit down, just over there.
All right.
I'm in the river now. It's all right.
I think just like still like back to you, just like sidles over and like sits down like back to the river.
I, I'm extremely amused that my knight protector, who was ready to storm in here, sword drawn, unknowing what she faced, is now nearly quaking with nerves.
We all react differently when we are faced with something we do not expect. I'm still human, but I'm glad to see that you are all right.
I'm well, and you, you probably like look away or bashful,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
he's just gonna splash a bunch of the water in your direction.
And I think that like she'll turn around and be like, well, I'm happy to see that you're so amused.
Uh, yeah, yes, this is awkward, was surprising. But yes, it's I haven't seen you in so long, and to see you as flustered as you are, I can't say I ever remember seeing you this way.
Well, if it's causing you this much entertainment, then I guess it's for the best. This is the first time I've seen you smile since we set off.
I'm feeling good.
I'm
The
glad.
bath certainly helped.
I've been worried. Now I'm going
About
to
me?
roll. Of course, about you. You've just, I mean, this situation would be hard for anyone, but I just worried that you were unhappy.
I'm I'm uncertain. I don't I don't yet know the extent of the danger to my family, and I don't know how long I'll have to stay away from the castle.
Well, they are well protected. Um, my father will see to it that nothing happens to them.
I believe you, and I am well protected myself, even from the
Yes,
bath in the river.
yeah. As long as there are no further surprise baths, I feel like you are very well protected.
I will make sure that I fully and loudly announce any future baths.
I think she just like face palms a little. It's like, well, it's good to see that some things never change. But um, you you do get to decide when we leave, but we should be off shortly.
All right then. Um, could you hand me my clothes? Unless you want me to get out again, but
No, 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 don't worry. I will happily retrieve them for you and stand up and like pull them off the branch and like put them down where she was sitting and then turn around and be like, we ride out at your order and just like waits like back turn to like for what he says.
aye, bath captain, I will be there shortly.
Well, and she just like nods. Like, all right, I'll settle for bath captain until I can be a knight. It's something.
And he's gonna emerge from the river. Is she still there, but probably has her back turned?
Yeah,
Okay.
she's probably
Um,
standing like at like the edge of the clearing to like where camp is. Just making sure like she was probably like listening for him to get out and then was probably going to head back towards camp once she like knew that he was on his way.
yeah, I'm sorry, I couldn't go the whole trip without a bath. It's I I I, I imagine the knights do this often, but
You made it surprisingly long, to be honest. We all thought you would crack after day two.
I'm glad that I can surprise you in numerous ways.
But I mean, yes, we are used to going long stretches without bathing. It is highly unpleasant after about day three or four. But you, I wouldn't say you get used to it, but you do get a little bit nose blind.
Well, do you want to take a bath before we leave?
Um, oh no, no, Your Majesty, I'll be okay. We'll be there tomorrow, and I'll be fine then. I don't want to, um, I don't want to waste any time.
And he is now like mostly dressed, and he comes up behind you and says, "I don't know, you're a bit ripe."
I think she turns around and just like gives him like a playful like shove and then immediately realizes what she did. I was like, I am so sorry. And I'm going to roll for intentionally touching. Um, yeah, and just like wide-eyed, like, oh, Your Majesty, I'm so sorry.
For what?
Um, I struck you.
That was hardly anything. Do you remember when we used to like wrestle as kids? Which you always won.
Well, I would probably win now too, but I don't think that's going to be something that happens.
I suppose not. Anyway, yes. Yeah, I guess we should be setting out.
Right. If you want to finish getting dressed, I'll have the horses brought around.
All right. I think that's the end of that scene.
Okay. Oh, these kids. All right. All right. So the next scene, every time I look at the scene, I'm like, this is my favorite scene. But I think that with every single scene, I'm like, oh no, this is my favorite scene. But it's not. I know what my favorite scene is, but I do love this one. So the next scene is called Finding Common Ground, um, which is just what it says. So where are we? What is the common ground that we find?
Hmm.
This is usually like these are usually very sweet scenes. I mean, they all have the potential to be sweet, but I feel like this is one of the sweeter ones.
I mean, one common ground they definitely share is the fact that they grew up together.
Mm-hmm. They both have pretty heavy expectations placed upon them, both by family and themselves. So that's something too. Man, they got a lot in common.
Hmm. Hmm. Do they sneak away from the larger group?
Oh, here. All right. Here's an idea. So, what if um we are we made it to Aunt's estate
Okay.
and I don't know, I have this like if Adeline is like out in like the yard training or something by herself and like Vestrin is like snuck off to like get some time alone, but she's like out there training. Something like that. Maybe. Just a thought.
So he comes across her while she's training.
Yeah.
And maybe
Like
this
when
mirrors
he's
something from their childhood. Like maybe this
just
is
like
something that
him
would happen when they were kids too.
like him trying to sneak away from like royal stuff.
Hmm.
Yeah, and she's like all the other knights have like turned in to like go eat or whatever, and she's just like still out there, just like wailing on a test dummy.
Yeah. Okay. I like this. I can work with this.
Yeah, so it's like I'd say probably dusk, like it's around dinner-ish time. So like all of the other knights have um I think that some of the contingency is heading back to the main castle. And a small amount are staying like here as like your personal guard. So I think that the knights have like finished knighting for the day,
It's a
or they're
finished
at least,
knighting.
or they're at least like breaking to go eat dinner. So they've all like kind of filed in, and Edeline has stayed out after they've all left, and like has set up like is like dragging like some of like the larger like dummies like into different setups in like the training pit area next to the stables.
And I think so. You said it's dusk.
Yeah, like it's still there's still enough light that like she could probably get in like a couple more hours of training.
Okay.
So yeah, like summer, like probably like 5 o'clock in the summer type of deal.
Okay. So I think at first, well, I guess so. Are you done setting the scene,
Yeah,
sort of?
yeah, that's my side of it is that she's like I think like she's in the process of like dragging the dummies out and then by the time like he gets to her she's like has started kind of like trying to run drills and stuff.
Okay. And I think she does not notice him at first because she's busy drilling.
Mhm.
Um, he just sits down. There are these uh, wooden benches near the area where she's drilling. Um, they're just almost like half logs that are
Mhm.
cut, set up. And he's sitting on one and he has that book. But this
Oh, the
time
big
he
book.
also has like a charcoal pencil.
Mhm.
Um, and it is dusk, but it's also like golden hour as far as
Mhm.
light goes. And he is drawing and periodically looking up at Adeline as she's drilling, and he's back to his book drawing, and for a while you don't notice him, but then I think you probably finish one set of your drill,
Mhm.
and you turn around, he's sitting there at the edge.
Yeah. And she, like puts her like plants her sword in the sand, like wipes her face and turns around. It's like, oh, Prince Vestrin, did you need something?
No, no, nothing at all.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't notice you earlier. How long have you been there?
Oh, a little while
I
through
think
the last couple sets of drills you've been doing.
and I think there's like a look of like embarrassment on her face, not like, oh, he's been watching me train, but like, what kind of night am I that he like walked out here and sat down and has been there for several minutes type of embarrassment? And she says, oh, some observant knight I am. I am so sorry.
You don't have to constantly be on edge, you know.
I, but I kind of do.
That's no way for anyone to live.
Well, um, I just want to make sure that I'm the best I can be. And if that means spending a little more time being a little more on edge, then that's just how it's going to be for right now.
The way I see it, you were here and you were practicing, which you've been doing quite a bit of since we arrived. I'd say you're keeping your skills sharp just in case.
I'm doing my best, just like any of us are. But I just any moment I can, I just need to make sure that I'm my best.
Hmm. He he doesn't close the book, but he puts the book aside on the bench and he puts the charcoal down. And he stands up and comes towards you and says, "Hey, do you have another one of those practice swords?"
Oh, yes, of course. Here, take this. I was going to switch. And actually, no. Here, take this, and she'll go back like into the. I'm going to call it a training shed. Pretend that I said something that's much more fantasy
Has must have
appropriate,
some
night
kind of
appropriate.
medieval name, but I don't know what it
Yes,
is.
but we're calling it the training shed. And comes back with another practice sword.
Do you remember when we used to practice as kids?
I hardly think that counts as practice.
Oh, okay, yeah, it was pretty sad, but you were always good at it. I always tried.
Have you been practicing? Your brother
Mm,
is very skilled with a sword.
yeah, he's more skilled than I am with it. I have practiced some, not as much as my father would like.
All right. Well, and I think she kind of like points the sword, like, all right, fight me.
And
I'm
he,
going to stand right here, and she just holds her sword like in one place, like, just come at me.
you sure?
I'm sure
I don't want to hurt you.
you won't.
All right then. Um, and he takes a moment to go into like a stance that he remembers from his training. Um, but it's clear it's not natural to him. He's now falling
Mm-hmm.
back on things that he is half picked up. Um, like as from your perspective, he takes far too long to even get
Mm-hmm.
into the stance. He would probably already be dead in combat. Um, then once he feels that he's prepared, he lunges at you in a way too predictable telegraphed
And
move.
I think she just takes like a tiny step and gets around him, and then just like knocks the sword out of his hand, like effortlessly.
You've gotten very good at this.
I would I would hope so. Also, you might as well be shouting what you're doing across the ring at me. Here, come come over here.
He picks up the sword, comes over.
I think she like tucks the sword in her belt and kind of like stands beside him and just like tries to like get him into the position and ends up like going around his back. He's like, you have to stand. She's like, square your hip, like adjusting him
Yep.
into position. Be like, all right, just like that. Is it uncomfortable?
If I stood this way for too long, I'm sure it would be, but it's all right for now.
All right, good. It's perfect. I'm going to roll for touching you. um, all right, stay just like that. And she like goes around to his front side and like effortlessly like drops into the same position, just like entire muscle memory, and pulls her sword out again. She's like, all right, try again.
This time he takes a longer moment. He still is telegraphing his moves a little bit. Like I mean, you also know him very well,
Mm-hmm.
and you can read his. He has a tell.
Yeah.
Like there's like a twitch in his eye or something right before he's going
Yeah.
to move. Um, and you're able to pick up on that because you know him. Um, and you see the attack coming like half a second before
Yeah.
he actually attacks you.
And I think instead of like just ducking completely out of the way, she like kind of like parries it and like kind of moves around him and gets it, like sticks her sword like in his back. It's like closer. But I think you should probably stick to the books if I'm being entirely honest.
That bad, huh?
Well, with enough practice, anybody can be good. We can keep going if you want to learn.
I I would like to keep going.
All right. Um, all right, let's try again.
And before you even can get into his stance, he lunges at you and attacks, trying to catch you a little bit off guard. It's not good enough, but
Yeah, no, definitely like be like, oh, all right, closer. Not quite.
and he keeps
Like,
going. He's like,
and I think she's just like, as she's like kind of like parrying all of his moves, she's like, surprise is the key, but you need to make sure that you're acting with intention. All of your moves are, you're not putting yourself into them. You're just flying blind.
what?
And the whole
I'm
time she's like just ducking around all of them.
I feel like I'm putting all of myself into each of these moves.
It's It's more than just physical strength. And I
Well,
think at that point, like with that, she like knocks the sword out of your hand and just like does that cinematic thing where it like flips and lands in the sand. It's like, ba-dunk.
hmm,
And she like gets the sword like right in the center of your chest. Like, the potential is there, but I am the knight after all. Well,
you are. It's a good thing
almost.
you're here.
But you could learn.
I probably would have learned better if you hadn't gone away.
Well, I probably wouldn't have gotten better if I hadn't gone away.
Am I that bad of an influence on you?
No, I don't think so. I feel like maybe my father would have liked it better if I had stayed, then I would be doing something more ladylike.
I can't even imagine that.
Me being ladylike.
Well, that's not what I. That sounds much worse than I intended.
No, no, I understand. I couldn't see it either.
And you must think that I'm so silly and soft and uh,
There, no, just because you're not like them, and she like motions to like the whole world the knights are eating. Being soft isn't the opposite of being strong. You are strong, just in a different way.
I never thought that I would have to be strong. I never I never expected any of this.
Well, sometimes life comes at you and you're not prepared for it. But we, just like in a sword fight, you need to adapt and adjust.
I need you to teach me.
I can. It's not going to be easy. And I won't go easy on you just because you are my prince.
Don't call me your majesty either.
Very well. If that is what you want, meet me here this same time tomorrow and wear something you don't mind getting dirty. And she like motions like your nice fancy prince clothes.
Which are already like dirty and smudged up and
Mm-hmm.
dusty. I can do that.
Can you?
Of course I can.
All right. Maybe we'll make a night out of you yet.
I would like that.
Well, um, I feel like that's enough for one night. What were you doing in your big book over there?
Oh, um, well, I'll show you. He goes over and fetches the book and brings it over, still open to the page it was on.
Mm,
And you can see like a charcoal sketch of you in a fighting, like mid move in a
mm.
fighting stance. The lighting was good. Well, you make
Wow.
a very fine subject.
She blushes. Obviously, gets all blushy and like kind of looks at me. You're very talented.
Hmm.
Sorry, that came out sounding surprised. You were talented when we were younger too, but you've gotten better.
I've been doing a bit of this when I probably should have been doing more drills,
Well, we like what we like.
but you were training and it reminded me of the fairy tales.
Well, that's very nice to imagine, but this is real life.
Alas, it is.
So, but it's wonderful. Did you bring any more of your artwork with you?
You could say that. And he looks down at the book and the many pages before where he's currently sketching.
Well, I'd love to take a look sometime.
Do you want to see some now?
And she like kind of like takes a glance back at like the dummies and like the practice swords in the sand. She's like, all right.
Come sit.
All right.
And they go over to the bench,
Mm-hmm.
and he sits next to you, um, close enough that he is touching you, though he doesn't seem to even notice that, or at least that's how it seems.
Would you say it was unintentional?
I would say that.
Roll, baby. Oh.
And he's flipping back earlier in the book, and you can see there are sketches of uh, landscapes in there, um, familiar landscapes that you know from the castle. Um, you can see some sketches of birds, um, more than one sketch of his horse, Eclipse.
Haha. They have a name.
Yep, I name dropped the horse. Um, and he flips to a page that you see quickly,
Mm.
um, and you realize it's a drawing of you at about the age when you left the castle for your training, so your early teens.
Mm.
But he like flips to that, and then he quickly like flips away from it.
I pretend I didn't see it. It's like these are all wonderful.
Thank you.
I mean, people have a hard time reading my handwriting if I'm trying to write a letter. I couldn't imagine any of this.
But meanwhile, your sword your sword work is it's like almost like painting.
Hmm. I mean, it is just a different form of muscle memory.
You make it look very easy. Definitely is not.
Well, it wasn't always. Years and years have made it easier, or not even easier. I've just gotten better at it. It still remains hard.
Well, I hope that
Uh,
you can help teach me.
I
I
will.
feel like oh, no, go ahead.
I will certainly try my best. I don't know how I am by way of being a teacher, but I can certainly try.
I think you're already a better teacher than all of the ones I had before.
Well, I'll take that.
As you should, Bath Captain.
Yes, and don't you forget it.
Should I inform you that I think I'm going to go take a bath after our lesson? Do you need
And
to
she
know that?
like,
Do I need to check in? Should I fill out any
and she like
paperwork?
leans against you and like shoulder while she like, no, just go.
All right then.
And she'll stand up and grab the grab both of the swords out of the sand and like smile. Have
If
a good
I
night.
Oh, thank you. If I were to come under any mortal threat while I'm in the bath, I can certainly count on you to rush to my aid, I'm sure.
I'm sure. Just just yell.
I can do that. And he takes his book and marches back towards the, I don't know, the manor, I guess it is. I don't know if it's a
Yeah.
castle, but
Yeah. It's like a small castle. And Adeline will just resume drills on the dummy while there's still some light.
and I think that is the end of the Finding Common Ground scene.
Yay! Oh, so cute. All right. Next scene. Oh, we're in it now. So the next scene is hard at work, which can mean so many different things. And of course, what we just did was also kind of we set up a good potential for hard at work if we wanted to go that route, or if we can think of um something else that's like tangentially related to it, so it's not like the same scene twice. Do you have any thoughts?
Hmm. What if they what if the prince came under some kind of threat
Ooh,
and
I
you had
like
to
it.
protect him?
Ooh, I like it.
Do we think that maybe they ventured away from the castle a little bit? Or even maybe there's a town nearby they went to?
Ooh, oh, I
Maybe
like
the
that.
people that are threatening him don't even realize he's the prince because this is the edge of the kingdom. They
Yeah, like
probably have never seen the prince.
maybe he just like wants to you like wanted to go into town, but you look really nice, so people are like, I'm gonna mug that guy.
Yeah.
That guy's got money.
He looks like an easy mark. He's got a big book on him.
Yeah, like he's just carrying this book and he just is dressed really fancy. What the hell? Yeah, so I think that sounds good. Like you just like wanted to go into like this small, like it's a decent sized town. It's not a city, but it's there's a decent it's big enough that warrants like that your aunt would like want to build her estate there. Like it's a bustling enough town that you can
Mhm.
get supplies to like live on the outskirts of it. Um yeah, maybe like do you think you were just like, I gotta get out of here and just like go somewhere
Yeah, I mean
stir
the
crazy
castle
type thing?
is a fair size, but it's the same people every day.
Mm-hmm. Oh, feels.
Yeah, I know.
It's
Quarantine
incredibly
life.
apropos. Yeah. Um, so I think at first Adeline was like, absolutely not. Like, you're not going anywhere, you idiot. Like, you came here to stay safe. But eventually relents
Yeah, he definitely insisted.
um with the understanding that she would be going with him, but I think she doesn't go like going as a knight in like knight garb would draw more attention. So I think
Yeah,
she's
she's not in full plate armor.
yeah, no, like she's dressed
Strolling
more
around.
simply and has like the old like daggers in the boots type of thing, like a more covert type of bodyguard situation as to not draw attention
Yep. Act casual.
to either. Yeah, just fly casual, just flying casual. Or it's like just makes you think of Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Rosa, how many knives do you have on you right now? 9. All right. It's like that. She has many weapons, many
Yep.
things on her person that could kill a man. Um, so let's see. So the scene, do you think the scene I'm trying to think of, do
We
we
could
want to
start
do
like
it?
right in the scene of him being threatened by some like
Yeah,
local
okay.
thugs or something.
Because then we don't have to also RP the thugs.
Hmm.
Um, I think, yeah, like we just get like I'm maybe following like a little like I get held up like a little bit behind and they like shove you into an alley or something and Adeline comes in and just like rains hell down upon these thugs. Um and um I can't think of the word. My mind went to decapitate. That is not the word that I want to.
Wow, that's harsh.
No, like disarm, knocks him out, like that kind of thing.
Hmm. Incapacitate,
Incapacitate. That is the word.
not
Just
decapitate.
not decapitate. Words are hard sometimes. Yeah, so I think this starts like right after she has like knocked out these thugs. Um,
And I
and
think that
she, yeah.
Prince Vestrin, he tried his best at parts using some of what she had trained him. But he also does not have a weapon. He did not
Mm,
bring a weapon to town. Um, and all of his lessons have been in like sword fighting,
mhm,
not hand to hand combat because no one expected the prince to get into a brawl. Um, so he tried, but he definitely would have been hopeless without
mhm.
you rescuing him.
So I think, so Adeline like start like puts two knives like away that she was dual wielding. And looks, are you all right?
Thanks to you.
I'm so sorry. I just got distracted for a moment. I'm
What are you apologizing for?
because if I had just stayed with you like I was supposed to, none of this would have happened.
Um, Not so sure about that. They seemed very determined.
Well, they're inconsequential, just common thugs.
Well, that may be true, but um, they outnumbered me for sure, and I don't think I would have put up much of a fight.
Well, that's because I let you come out here unarmed here. And she like reaches into her boot and pulls out a dagger and like flips it in her hand, like holding it by the blade and like holds it out to you. Like, just keep this somewhere on you just in case. I should have known you looked far too fancy to be walking around a place like this without trouble.
These are my walking clothes.
There are prince's walking clothes.
Oh, is it that obvious? And he looks at the like a couple of the unconscious or like moaning thugs that are
Yeah.
just got their asses handed to them.
And she just like kind of motions to what she's wearing, which is also like really plain. Like, a little bit. You do tend to stand out.
Well, uh, I guess you have a point there. I guess I didn't expect that anyone would assault a prince, but I,
They probably didn't know you were the prince. They probably just thought you were some stupid noble visiting your aunt.
I am a stupid noble visiting my aunt.
You, well, nobody in their, well, I would like to think nobody in their right mind would go assaulting the prince. That gets you killed. Assaulting some idiot noble who doesn't know to keep his purse close to his body deserves what he has coming to him.
I feel like you're supporting me while also emphasizing all the things I could have done a lot smarter. I appreciate it.
I'm just, I am trying to support you. I do support you. I am here for you, whatever you may need. But we do need to be collectively a little bit smarter with how we go about things, I think.
First step, I think, is I will make sure to keep you a little bit closer at all times. and he steps up and he adjusts your collar, which has like been like knocked askew while you were fighting. Um, and he adjusts it and fix it, which is an unintentional touch.
Yeah.
He's also very close to you right now.
She just kind of like looks away a bit. It's like, and when we get back to the castle, we will run some drills with daggers and knives with close quarters combat. That'll be very useful should this happen again. Um, but it won't happen again. I'll be sure of that. You will be right as rain.
And he's very close to you, and he's looking at you with those hazel eyes that he has. And definitely there's like one like lock of hair that's just came disheveled in all of the struggle. Um, he takes the dagger that you gave him. He says, "Remind me again. I stabbed them with the sharp end, correct?"
And I think she takes it from you. It's like, maybe we'll start from square one back at the palace in the meantime. And she's gonna like brush the one hair off and like dust your shoulder, like dust the dust off of you. In the meantime, um, we can just go about our business in the town if you still have something that you'd like to do. Um,
Well, truth be told, I mostly wanted to get out of the castle and get a little bit of excitement, and that was a lot of excitement.
you need to be very careful with what you wish for. Um, definitely more excitement than I anticipated. I was thinking maybe we would just come down here, grab a drink, and watch drunkards fight amongst themselves for a little while and then sneak back into the palace around dinner time, but did not anticipate you getting held up in an alley.
Neither did I, but I can begin to see why you do what you do. That was a rush. That was much more a rush than any of the training drills ever were.
Because it's real.
True. And because I always knew, although all of the knights that trained us tried to act tough, none of them would ever come close to even possibly hurting a prince.
Well, that's not my intention either, but if it gets the point across, I'm not afraid to be a little rough.
he he stammers a little bit, like he's quiet for a long moment when you say that.
I think she is too. She's like, what did I just?
I appreciate that about you.
Well, there are some benefits to us having known each other for so long. You're, you will always be a prince, and I am here to protect you and do what I can to keep you safe. But I also feel comfortable enough that should you, hmm, you're the prince, but you were my friend for so long. So I guess I'm not afraid to treat you like my friend sometimes instead of like the prince.
I'm veteran,
That
like I've always been.
I know. And it's easy for you to say that, but if I let myself be that familiar again, then what kind of knight am I?
I don't know what kind of knight that makes you, but I know what kind of friend that makes you.
I don't know if I can be both.
I think you can. And I think that's what I need. Adeline, you don't, when you left all those years ago, I don't know that you realized you were such a big part of my life. I've always grown up sheltered and protected. Well, either sheltered and protected or ignored and unseen. That's the life of the second son. But when when we were friends growing up, it was neither of those things. And when you left, I guess I did what I've always had a tendency to do. I retreated back into my own world.
I'm I'm sorry. That's Vestrin. I left so that I could come back. I've spent the last 10 years of my life training to be good enough to come back.
I know that now. And I'm really, really happy that I'm going to roll too.
Um, I'm glad you deserve to be happy.
Don't leave again, all right?
I won't.
And let's go get that drink.
That sounds like a good idea.
And I think that is the end of
See?
that scene. Do we want to take a short break? Since we're now
Yes.
4 scenes in?
Yes, let's do like a tenor. Because yeah, I could get some more water. Um, if our beloved stream mama will bring us into a break. Let's see. Let's see if I can. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
10-minute
Yes,
break.
please.